Hi everyone, this is the Daily Moose. I'm Nyo, your favorite cow reporter reporting in from China. As income increases for Chinese consumers, people are consuming more dairy, and China is now the world's third largest consumer and producer of cow milk, home to 10.3 million dairy cows. My friends are increasingly living in large intensive farms, which brings unique animal welfare challenges and benefits. To improve the welfare of my fellow cows, it's important to understand the perspectives of farm workers who directly determine every aspect of our lives. I'll now introduce my human colleague who conducted research in this area. Over to you, Maria. Thanks for the introduction. I'm Maria Chen, the human researcher. In 2019, I set out to understand what workers on 2large dairies in China thought about cattle welfare. My research method was ethnography, which is a way of understanding local culture through immersive fieldwork. For 2 months, I lived on 2 accessible large dairies, one with 1,500 cattle and the second with 11,000 cattle. I shadowed and interviewed 41 workers while participating in and observing daily farm work. I will share 4 main ways which workers viewed animal welfare: as cattle's basic needs, as additional benefits for cattle, as dependent on worker welfare, and as our ethical obligation. One way worker viewed animal welfare was as cattle's basic needs, using the Chinese phrase 衣食住行, or clothing, food, shelter, and travel, to refer to both human and animal welfare. A worker on the second farm shared, animal welfare is the same as for humans, 衣食住行. 衣 clothing refers to temperature, am I hot? 住 living refers to the stalls. If I'm not comfortable, then I won't lie. If I stand too long, my milk yield will decrease. Food, is it enough for me to produce milk? Then 行 travel is walking. Is the ground slippery? Will I injure my hooves? The farm manager on the first farm also defined animal welfare as cattle's 衣食住行 and added, cattle welfare, don't see them as livestock. See cattle as your partner in earning. When they're comfortable, they'll produce more and we'll benefit. In this view, cattle welfare involves providing for basic needs, which can benefit humans too. A second way workers viewed animal welfare was additional benefits beyond basic needs. Despite the relatively poor animal welfare on the first farm, some saw cattle welfare as high compared to their own. The cleaner with the lowest wage shared, cattle welfare is living well, being happy. Here the cattle get treatment when they're ill, eat whenever they want. Cattle welfare, there isn't even human welfare. I don't even live like cattle. Their life is like the emperor's. When I asked him what he meant by human welfare, he explained, it's giving you worker uniform. At Chinese New Year, giving you some oil. This refers to additional employee welfare in China. I said, I think animal welfare is living a good life. What do you think is important to cattle? He responds, cleanliness, listening to some music. This worker felt it was excessive to improve cattle welfare, since welfare meant to him additional benefits like music, and because he felt his own welfare wasn't even addressed. Thirdly, workers on both farms shared how cattle welfare was dependent on worker welfare. While I observed several lower paid workers treating cattle roughly on the first farm, the farm management team consistently treated cattle gently. A team member explained, servicing the people, servicing the cattle, that's all bullshit, you know. Our subsistence comes first. If you paid me like the cleaners, I'd mistreat the cattle too. This suggests worker patience may depend on first meeting their subsistence needs. On the second farm, living conditions for workers and cattle were better. One worker shared, "They recently improved our meal plan. Everyone is more motivated to work." Cattle welfare is basically human welfare. Only when human lives are improved, then they can take good care of the cattle. As I worked alongside these workers, I experienced my own motivation improving, as the food was delicious and I even had my own toilet. Lastly, a few workers felt responsible for their cattle's welfare. The reproductive team on the second farm had the company's best performance, and I noticed that members were respectful towards cattle, in part due to the attitude of their leader. In a daily meeting, he introduced me to his team. Chen studies animal welfare. She's here to study about issues related to cattle's thoughts and experiences. Currently, humans are the rulers. Because of this, we need to find the way of nature, respect nature. It's a crime to be disrespectful. Only when you give a man power, you can see their true nature. Give a man a prod, a stick. You can immediately see what kind of person they are. We need to consider humans, but also cattle. Work with her using your brain, not brute force. In the beginning, cattle didn't like to be disturbed by humans. We first violated her freedom and captured her. Now we need to take responsibility. Cattle have souls. We cannot anger her soul. He viewed animal welfare as understanding cattle experience. He valued cattle as beings with souls, suggesting that humans should be responsible for providing good care. To conclude, workers viewed human and cattle welfare as interconnected. Workers saw addressing worker needs as essential to ensuring animal welfare, and cattle welfare as potentially beneficial to humans. Some workers even saw an ethical obligation towards providing good welfare. Back to you, Ñoño. Thanks, Maria. Moving forward, we should continue to consult the perspectives of local workers. Addressing basic worker and cattle needs is in the interest of cattle, workers, dairy companies, and consumers. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. See you next time.